A touching tribute for a technical visionary. Flowers, cards, and pictures are piling up outside Apple's headquarters in California. Steve Jobs, his life, his death, and how he changed our world. Tonight on INN. Good evening, everyone. I'm Mike Bickle. It all began for Steve Jobs in a garage in Silicon Valley. And from those seeds in his mind, he grew an empire called Apple. Now, Apple chairman and former CEO Steve Jobs is dead after a long battle with pancreatic cancer. Phil Doherty looks back on his life, cut short at age 56.
Today, Apple is going to reinvent the phone.
Though understated in appearance, Steve Jobs did not lack for flair or showmanship.
We asked ourselves, what would happen if a MacBook and an iPad hooked up?
Jobs was born in San Francisco in 1955. At just age 20, he started Apple Computer in his garage with friend Steve Wozniak. And his first notable contribution to the computer world, a machine that changed our lives forever.
People are going to bring them home over the weekend to work on something. Sunday morning, they're not going to be able to get their kids away from them, and maybe someday they'll even buy a second one to leave at home.
It made computers easier to use with what was then a strange little device called a mouse. But it was expensive and sales were sluggish. In 1985, Jobs was forced out of Apple, but that didn't keep him down. In 1986, he bought Pixar Animation Studios, which later produced hits like Toy Story. He also started a computer company called Next. Apple actually ended up buying that company, bringing Jobs back to the company that he started. Jobs introduced technology that changed the way we listen to music and use our phones, all while battling health problems. He became noticeably thin and frail. In 2009, he took a 6-month leave and eventually revealed that he'd had a liver transplant. A year after introducing the iPad, which brought Apple its most profitable year in history, Jobs took another leave in January 2011. He returned in March to unveil a thinner, faster version of the iPad, but this past August, he announced his resignation as CEO, saying he could no longer perform the duties. Steve Jobs, a man called the Thomas Edison of the modern world.
We are calling it iPhone.
Lives on in the technology he helped create. I'm Phil Doherty reporting.
The man who was there from the very beginning, Steve Wozniak, has this to say about the death of his friend and former partner.
I'm a little bit like awestruck, like just dumbfounded, and I can't put my mind into gear. Can't do things. It's kind of like, when John Lennon died or JFK. I don't think hardly anybody else, maybe Martin Luther King. It's sort of like you're like there's a big hole left in you, and it's very hard to go back and reflect on all the feelings.
How did Steve Jobs and the things he helped create change or impact your life? We want to know. Leave your comments on our Facebook page. You'll find us at INN News. Steve Jobs inspired so many as he lived life to the fullest while battling pancreatic cancer. He was diagnosed in 2003. He had an unusual form called neuroendocrine tumor that affects digestive enzymes and hormones in the body. It has a survival rate of 50% past 5 years. In 2004, Jobs underwent surgery to remove the tumor. A year later, he delivered this commencement address at Stanford University.
No one wants to die. Even people who want to go to heaven don't want to die to get there. And yet, death is the destination we all share. No one has ever escaped it. And that is as it should be, because death is very likely the single best invention of life. It's life's change agent. It clears out the old to make way for the new.
As we mentioned, in 2009, he underwent a liver transplant. This was a procedure appropriate to try to fight the disease. He continued to seek alternative treatments up until the very end. By the way, we're still awaiting word on funeral services. Apple is planning a celebration of his life for employees. And you can honor Jobs by making a fashion statement next week. Fans have declared October 14th Steve Jobs Day. That's the same day the new iPhone 4S goes on sale. There's even a website, stevejobsday2011.com. It invites people to dress in Jobs' trademark jeans and black turtleneck. Police in Northern California today shot and killed the suspect in yesterday's shooting at a cement plant near San Jose. This is video of the scene where Sharif Allman was shot at a home just miles from yesterday's shooting. Police say Allman opened fire during an early morning meeting at the plant. 9 people were shot, 3 are dead. Workers at the plant say Allman was upset that he was being moved to the night shift. More than 300 police officers are searching for a Missouri baby who vanished from her home earlier this week. 10-month-old Lisa Irwin was last seen Monday night asleep in her crib in Kansas City. Police believe the baby was abducted, but they have few leads to go on. Her parents are desperate for anyone to come forward.
We just want to have her back home. We just want our baby back. Please, bring her home. Our 2 other boys are waiting for her. Please, just drop her off anywhere. We don't care. Just somewhere safe where she can come home, please.
Police say the parents are not considered suspects. Bad news today on the jobs front. First-time filings for unemployment benefits rose to 401,000 last week. That's 6,000 more than the week before. Applications are higher than they would be in a healthy economy. They need to fall below 375,000 to signal sustainable job growth. They haven't been that low since February. Today, the president took this news to try to force Republicans into signing his $447 billion jobs bill.
The reason I keep going around the country talking about this jobs bill is because people really need help right now. Our economy really needs a jolt right now. This is not a game. This is not the time for the usual political gridlock.
Time now for your Vote 2012 and an announcement about a candidate who will not be entering the race. Sarah Palin won't be seeking the Republican nomination for president in 2012. Palin says she can be on the right path without being a candidate and plans to help the Republican cause by working to elect others. Meanwhile, an average of recent major polls shows Mitt Romney is losing ground to Herman Cain. According to Real Clear Politics, Romney leads with 21.6%. That's down from 23% earlier in the week. Rick Perry is behind him with 18%, down from 23%. Herman Cain has shot up to 15% from 12% earlier in the week. Former Congressman and Governor of Louisiana Buddy Roemer is running way behind in the polls. In fact, he's barely registering. But as Martin Morenz from our New Hampshire affiliate WBIN reports, he's not about to quit.
Buddy Roemer is hoping for a political comeback. He has returned to politics after nearly 20 years with a message about jobs and trade. The former governor of Louisiana is low on funding, but full of energy on the campaign trail.
I spent a lot of time in New Hampshire. It's my focus. I want to do well in this primary. It's like I'm running for governor of New Hampshire. I go precinct by precinct across New Hampshire. We're getting organized now. We're beginning to make process. People just don't know me.
Roemer, who switched parties while he was governor of Louisiana from conservative Democrat to Republican, is comfortable in New England. After all, he went to Harvard at the age of 16, but he still describes himself as a Methodist boy from a cotton field in North Louisiana.
Well, I was born on a farm. My parents still live there, and I'm fairly simple. I went to Harvard undergraduate, studied economics. I went to the Harvard Business School, studied banking. I'm a banker by profession. I built $1 billion bank, very profitable, no bailout money. So I like what I've done. I'm a jobs guy. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not much of a politician. I'm not a government guy. I'm a jobs guy. That's just what this campaign needs.
But Buddy Roemer doesn't believe he's getting much respect. He hasn't been invited to some of the major debates. He thinks the mainstream media is writing him off far too early.
Well, it's a long campaign. The election's not until November of 2012. And I'm in no hurry. I'm here. I'm going to stay here. And I'm going to talk about these issues.
I'm Martin Morenz reporting for INN News.
A missing American has been found dead in Italy. Authorities believe 23-year-old Allison Owens may have been hit by a car and fell into a canal. An autopsy to establish the cause of death is underway. Pakistan's government is blaming floods and scorching heat for a severe dengue fever outbreak. It's centered in the crowded city of Lahore. 12,000 people have been infected since August. More than 125 have died. Britain's Prince Harry is stateside for a while. He's training in Southern California and Arizona for 2 months to learn maneuvers for attack helicopter pilots. British soldiers, including Captain Harry Wales, will practice flying Apache helicopters in terrain similar to parts of Afghanistan. The 27-year-old has served on the front line and was involved in combat. A man in England will spend 4.5 years in prison for taking a destructive joyride on a forklift. Police just released this video of the incident from back in July. Authorities say the man stole the wrecker from a construction site. He led police on a chase at speeds between 15 and 20 miles per hour. The man plowed through a field and a cemetery, destroying several gravestones. Police cuffed him after the forklift blew a tire, bringing it to a stop. Police estimate the damage at 15,000 pounds, which is more than 23,000 US dollars. And that's your Global News Now. Well, more news for those of you looking for some extra Christmas cash. And here comes the bride in high tech. Ryan Bass gets back to business.
If you're looking for a seasonal job, you'd better apply fast. Leading retailers say they expect to hire just as many or more holiday workers than they did last year. But with the bad economy, the competition will be pretty steep. Kohl's plans to hire 40,000 seasonal workers, a 5% jump from last year. Macy's plans to hire around 78,000 temporary workers, and JCPenney plans to employ 35,000 people. For the second year in a row, Cheesecake Factory is America's favorite casual dining restaurant. A survey of more than 4,500 customers gave the restaurant high marks for cleanliness, food, quality, and taste. Texas Roadhouse came in second, followed by Olive Garden and P.F. Chang's. From Twitter updates to live stream ceremonies, weddings are going high-tech. More couples are opting to include technology in wedding preparations and the big day itself. Some send out save-the-date videos. Some iPads stream photos online during the reception. For your Back to Business, I'm Ryan Bass.
Well, we know many of you are pet parents. Coming up, we're going to take you to one big reunion of those who open their hearts and their homes to pets in need. Plus, with school in session, your child may have already gotten sick, but they may have caught something else, lice. How to properly check for it. And pop culture once again influencing our Halloween costume choices. What could be the winning costume at your party this year? That's coming up next on INN.